Right.
I needed validation in my life that I was okay because I was abandoned. And by me being abandoned, I didn't feel like my self worth was real low. I didn't feel like I was worthy of anything, you know.
Welcome back to my page, Inspiring Beauty and Believers. I'm Song, and today I have with me my dad. And my dad and I have conversations almost every day, every morning, when I'm on my way to work or, when he's getting off of work. So today we're inviting you into some of the conversations that we have, and I hope you enjoy. So, Dad, I'll let you go ahead and start off because I know you got a lot on your heart.
Well, I do. I have a lot on my heart. Good morning. And I just, there's so many areas in my life that have been affected by this word abandonment. I have abandonment issues. And I know that there's a lot of things that I've had to deal with. I got to remember to look into the camera. Uh, and it's kind of like I got messed up here, you know.
You got tissue? Because I got tissue on my side.
And no, it's just, because it's an emotional thing that you don't have control of, And what I really found out is that abandonment issues affect you in a lot of areas of your life, in the physical realm, the spiritual realm, and in your emotions, and how by it happening to me, it's been passed down, even with you, I wasn't there for you like I should have been. And this is very emotional. I'm being able to look at you and talk to you about this kind of stuff. It really makes me feel ashamed as a father, that I wasn't for you, be there for you the way that I should have been, And so how I feel about being abandoned, you know, is something like I said is out of my control, you know. But how do I deal with it today? So what I'm really basically here to do is share my experience, strength, and my hope with you. The things that I experienced, and my strength and what I hope for, and my faith that I have in God. You know, I'm 57 years old, 58 this year. Uh, my mother, gave birth to me back in 1962, and you know, 4 years after that, 4 to 6 years after that, we separated. And all my life, the people who raised me told me that my mother had left me, And so I grew up in school watching everybody else with their biological parents, and I knew that the parents that was raising me, they wasn't my biological parents, so it made me feel different, emotionally. And then the kids used to tease me, because the parents that I had that was raising me, the mother that was raising me, she was a dark complected woman. And I'm not dark complected. And so they used to say, oh, that's not your mother. And they used to tease me. And it was very emotional because I knew they knew. And I didn't know how they knew. And it really bothered me. As a kid, little small things that can be said to you can really affect you when you're a kid, and they stay with you throughout the course of your life. So abandonment issues have always affected me in every area of my life, and I just only recently found that out as I've been walking with the Word and walking with the Lord, really finding out who I am and whose I am. And what I found out is that when I got in junior high school, I started dating. Well, have girlfriends. And so when I had girlfriends, I find myself not only wanting to have one girlfriend, I found myself wanting to have a couple girlfriends. And all the friends that I used to have and used to hang around with used to always give me high fives and congratulate me on, having all these people and all these girls. But what they didn't know, it was that I had some insecureness. I was insecure about having just one something because I felt like if that one something run off, then I wouldn't have nothing. So I always felt like I had to have a spare, like in a car, a spare tire. I always felt like I had to have something extra in my life. And that's what it was. It wasn't that I was cool. It wasn't that I had it going on. It was that I had insecurities about abandonment. It really, and as I got older, I come to find out that it turned into people pleasing. I became a people pleaser.
Mm.
I did whatever I had to do to make people like me because all that stuff was stemming from being abandoned. People pleasing, attention. I always had to be the center of attention. I always wanted attention. And you better not compliment me on nothing. If you complimented me on something, then I want more compliment. It was always, trying to seek some type of validation.
Right.
I needed validation in my life that I was okay because I was abandoned. And by me being abandoned, I didn't feel like my self worth was real low. I didn't feel like I was worthy of anything, you know. And there might be somebody out there that might not feel about themselves the way they should. It wasn't until I started reading the Word of God that I found out that I do have some worth. And as I continue to read and continue to understand, and I'm still learning. I'm not there yet. I'm still dealing with some things. I was dealing with some stuff the other day. I think I shared with you uh, some stuff here in my own household I was dealing with, when it comes to being and feeling like abandoned, you know, when I'm not, I feel disconnected, because abandonment is not only just somebody leaving me, it could be me leaving somebody else. We were talking about it earlier. We was talking about how, I used to sabotage my relationships. I used to sabotage my relationships because I felt like, well, if it didn't last, I've always had this fear. Fear is a cousin of abandonment. When I felt like that uh, I'm not gonna let you run off on me and leave me. I'm gonna sabotage this relationship so I could be in control of us separating.
Right.
So instead of me letting it play out, which would have might probably been a good thing, I would turn around and sabotage the relationship, so I could be in control of, you leaving me. Well, I did a lot of that back and forth throughout my life, destroyed relationships, discredit people. But, one of the things that I've come to find out is that if you don't find out who you are, like I said, and whose you are, and understand that God loves you and He wants you to love yourself, and you have to trust and give people a chance, that you will destroy a lot of relationships. You know, uh,
I've
I
heard it
have,
said that hurt people.
yeah,
And so if you're carrying those feelings of abandonment or rejection, and sometimes people don't even know that they are dealing with these things
right,
because they've masked it with something else. But if you're carrying that deep inside, then all you can give to somebody else is pain and heartache. That's all you have to give. So you don't really know how to love people. So when you were younger, did
mm.
you, I know you said that you had multiple girlfriends and stuff. Did you ever feel like you actually loved anybody?
I like you. I like you for what you can do for me. If you did something for me, then you were cool with me. You made me laugh. It didn't have to be nothing monetary or material, nothing like that, because I was too young back then for that kind of stuff. But it was always about if you made me laugh, if you made me feel good. See,
Hmm.
because that's what it was about when I was a kid. You know, if you can come outside when I wanted you to come outside, or if you can, go somewhere with me, we can go to the beach together or something, you was my best friend, you know. See, I never really learned how to have friends too until I got to be a little older and understand what friendship was really all about. And it's amazing that you get to be a certain age and you think that you've learned some things throughout the course of your life. And then when you get a little older, you realize you haven't learned nothing.
Right.
You realize you ain't learned nothing. That you just now starting to really learn how to appreciate people. And this is one of the things that I've had to deal with that stem from abandonment. It made me real selfish, self-centeredness, narcissistic, in so many areas that this thing have damaged and hasn't afforded me to be able to really love on people, you know, and love myself, you know. I've discredited myself in so many areas of my life, uh, just the other day, I was talking to my mother. Praise God, she's still alive. All those years that we wasn't with each other, I didn't even, got to the point where I didn't even really try to even look for her because I thought she might have been gone already. And
Right.
46 years, you don't see somebody that length of time, you don't even think they're still alive. And
Right.
when she was found through Facebook, and one of my daughters found her, and it was really breathtaking because all these years I've been living, uh, I was 55, 55, no, I was 53 when I found her. That was 4 years ago. Yeah.
Mhm.
And uh, talked to her, and she told me that the man had been raising me since 1962 wasn't my biological dad. So once again, abandonment feelings popped up. So here I am, thought I got over her. Now I got to deal with the fact that the man that I thought has been raising me all my life wasn't my biological dad. So I'm feeling that I'm feeling some kind of way once again, and it's just dealing with that. You know, I was very angry with her, because I felt like that all this time had passed. I feel like that's something she had to tell me, you know. But she said
Did
it,
you
and I,
feel, were you upset because she told you the truth, or because now it felt like your entire life was a lie?
there it is right there, because my whole entire life was a lie, and I'm dealing with that again now. Just a couple of days ago, I was talking to her, and I was asking her something, about her coming to visit me when I was a child, and then she breastfeed me, and she was telling me she never breastfeeded me because the first time she saw me, I was too old. I was 6 years old. So that kind of made me feel real bad because I'm thinking, well, the first time that you saw me actually was when I was 6. And where had you been from the time I was born till I was 6?
Mm.
So it's like there's a whole bunch of misinformation that's going on in my life that I don't really understand that's making me feel real bad. And just sitting here thinking about it, it's really painful, you know. But thank God for who He is in my life today, that He afforded me to be able to just lean on His everlasting arms, His strength, and know that He loves me. And then, of course, I know you love me. And I have my wife, she loves me. And I have people, I believe my mother loves me as well. You know, everybody goes through what they go through. But the thing of it is that there's so many ways and so many times in our life, especially people of color, you
Mhm.
know, where abandonment has come to play, where family members have had to send other children to other family members because they couldn't afford to take care of them, and the child didn't understand the financial part of it. All the child sees is that you send me away. Well,
Right.
my mother, she dealt with something like that. With her family, she shared with me that she dealt with something like that. So we all deal with those type of issues, but what do we do? How do we resolve those situations when we're feeling like that? You know, those are the things that they keep falling out my ear, and those are the things that we have to be able to deal with. You know, when we're feeling abandoned, we have to know that there, or believe and trust that there is a God in heaven. That's our Father that
Right.
loves us and cares for us. That's there for us. That gives us the strength to be able to get from day to day. See, all I need to do is just cover myself for the day. I ain't got to try to uh, make up for all that time that my mother was missing in my life because that's behind me,
Hmm.
And a lot of times that's what happens when we're depressed. When we're depressed about our emotions and about abandonment or what took place in our life, we're holding on to something that we don't have any control of. I said earlier some things that I don't have control of. I don't have control of what happened back in 1960, 1970. All I could do is stand on what I believe in today. You know, and
In
so
Psalms, I look now because I'm trying to look up the scripture,
right.
but when you were talking,
Mm-hmm.
I heard Psalms 27:10. It says, "Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me." And
Amen.
that's what people have to really accept, because we were talking about this earlier. um y'all, we've been talking about this abandonment thing since for like the last week or so,
Right.
2 hours a day talking about overcoming abandonment issues. So
Right.
this is, a deep thing. But we were even talking about earlier that you may have physical abandonment, but you may have emotional and spiritual abandonment too. And you could have your parent right there in the household with you,
Right.
but they are not emotionally connected to you because maybe they have some stuff that they had never dealt with, so they don't know how to connect. And even if they don't make that connection with you, God is always there for you. He is that parent that you need, and He can fill in those places. But first, you have to come to a place of realization where you accept that I'm hurt in this. That's where that transparency comes from. I think sometimes we put on this facade that I'm okay. Like I got it together, or I get all these material things, and I have these relationships, or I put drugs and alcohol and sex and all this stuff here to cover the fact that I'm really broken inside. Because abandonment will break you if you because then you feel rejected and you feel like, what's wrong with me? Why did they leave me? Why did they not want me? And like you said, this is a very huge thing in the Black community. I can only speak from the Black aspect.
Right.
I've never
Right.
been
Right.
anything else.
Right.
I'm sure it happens in other cultures too, but I
Yeah.
know in this culture it happens a lot, especially with fathers leaving, and
Right.
sometimes mothers leave.
Right.
But I know for me growing up, when you weren't there, um, little back history, there was a few times that my dad said that he saw me when I was little. I don't remember any of these times, but I do remember reuniting with him. I was 12, um, and then we've been connected since then. But prior to that, I saw my other siblings, um, and they had their dads in some way, shape, or form, and I would pray and ask God, how come I don't have a dad? Like, I don't know who my dad is. I've never seen my dad, to my knowledge, because to my knowledge, I had never seen him
Right.
ever. But I wanted that, and I was like, why doesn't he want me? And so when I met him at 12, I had this picture. I'm a post a picture on this video of the day that we first reunited, and I had like this huge smile. I was so happy because I finally was like, I know who I am now, because I have a dad. I know who I am, so I'm not by myself anymore. And it was like a very emotional time. I'm getting emotional right now. I'm trying not to cry. Um, So it was a really emotional thing for me to finally be able to say, I have a dad, I'm not by myself. Um, and then, over time with us building our relationship, because he had abandonment issues that he had never dealt with, it still caused a lot of issues in our relationship. I know you remember, because we've talked about this recently, the letter that I wrote you when I was like
Ah,
15.
yeah.
And because I was just like, I just need you to be my father. I don't need you to be my friend. I don't need you taking me around all these 50 billion girls and stuff, because I didn't feel like, I felt like you were still trying to do some other stuff and you still really wasn't there for me. Even though you were physically there, you weren't emotionally connecting to me with what I needed from a father. So I still kind of felt abandoned, even though you were present.
Yeah, well, I still was trying to learn my way. Like today, I'm still trying to learn my way. I'm a little better than what I was back
Mm-hmm.
then, but even then, I still was trying to fill my life with all the other things, like you said, the material, the monetary things, the world. And when God has a place for you in you, that reservation is reserved just for Him. And you can try to put all those things, like I heard you say earlier about the drugs, the alcohol, and all that kind of stuff. I did all that stuff, and I'm not ashamed to, speak about it. I did all that stuff, to try to get a temporary freedom from the pain that I was feeling. I didn't know that then. I
Mm-hmm.
thought I was just doing what everybody do, because when the neighborhood I grew up in and the people that I associated with it back then, that was the thing that was in. Everybody did it. I haven't always been a person of faith. I haven't always been a person who worshiped God and this, that, and the other. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's always been my story. That haven't always been my story. But the thing of it is that thank God it's my story today. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, just through step work, because I have been through programs that helped me, and it helped me find God. One of the things, as far as the solutions go, what helped me was being able to realize that I was powerless over things that directly deal with me. People, places, things, and situations and circumstances. I had to realize that I was powerless over what took place when I was a baby. I was an infant, you know, and for me to blame myself for that. Because, see, in my mind, I was thinking that, well, my mother and my father probably stayed together that whole time, and then when they gave birth to me, the problems came. So I must be the problem. And that's not really what the reality of it was. But
Right.
so I had to realize that whatever the problem was between those two, why they separated and why she went her way and he did whatever he did, had nothing to do with me. And see, that's one thing I have to learn how to do. Is then I have to learn how to stop taking on so much pressure on myself when it comes to what people do. Trying to, like I spoke earlier about people pleasing, you
Mm-hmm.
know. You do all that you can to make people happy because you don't want nobody. You want everybody around you. You want people to stay close to you. So you accept things, see, that you shouldn't have to accept. That's another area of life. You become a doormat and let people
Mm-hmm.
walk all over you because of your low self-esteem and your low self-worth. Because you want that validation from people. I'm not saying that all people are bad, but I ain't saying all people are good. So you have to be careful. You have to have a balance there with people. You know, I don't know. It's just I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on dealing with abandonment issues with my children. Uh, I'm a father, but I ain't been the best father. I don't take pride in saying that. It's taken a lot for me. Just to do this video. It's easy for us to be on the phone with one another and talk about this, but actually looking at you in your face and talking about this kind of stuff, I really feel ashamed, because you're such a beautiful woman, and your mama raised you and you come through and I asked myself, well, how much did I have to do with it? You know, and every parent want to have something to do, have some type of influence with raising a child. You know, I thank God for Him being in your life. You know, I also thank Him that me and you have this relationship today, that we can talk, that you have forgiven me, that you didn't hold resentment. You know, because you could have held resentment and just went on about your way. You know, I've still got some issues that I'm going through with a few of my children. My one of my oldest son right now. We don't talk as much as we should, and that bothers me. That really bothers me because I want to have this relationship with him. He just recently had a son. And this is my grandson, and I haven't met, and it's been almost 3 years now. And that's because me and his relationship is not where it should be. You know, and it's because that the abandonment issues has been transferred down to me, has been transferred down to them, and you as well. You know, I didn't be with you guys the way that I should have been there for you. I said on earlier that a lot of times when people come together and they have a encounter sexual activity with one another, it's a possibility that the woman might get pregnant and she might have a child. That doesn't necessarily mean that that person wanted to be a parent at that time. You
Right.
know, and I know that's kind of hard. I mean, that's hard for me to say to you because you my daughter, and I'm not saying that I didn't want you, because you know what me and your mother went through.
Mm.
When she did what she did, and the reason why I did what I did to her, and I know that's a lot of round talking, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know what I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, because I wanted her to have you. I didn't know if you was gonna be a boy or a girl at that time, but whatever it was, I loved her enough that I wanted her to have you. And so, but a lot of times in people's life, that's what happens. A lot of times people have children and they don't know how to relate to them because they got issues themselves. I had issues that so still working on it
Why? So why did you want her to have me?
because I love her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, and uh, when we talk about love and we talk about abandonment issues and we talk about all those things are like members. You know how the Bible talks about members, the members of the
Mm-hmm.
body. All those things coincide, work together as for one. You know, you know, and I always talk about people having an idea of being in love. There are different categories for it. You can love or be in love or have love or just have an idea in your head about being in love. And what it should be. And sometimes it's complicated. You hear people say it all the time. I'm in a relationship, but it's complicated. You know, you know. Sometimes the complications start with the individual.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to uncomplicate my life right now. And this is in my 50s. I'm trying to uncomplicate things. There's some things that need to be said. There's some things that need to be done. Some amends that need to be made. You know, but the thing of it is that I just to get the freedom to liberate yourself from the depression and the oppression of abandonment. So this is something that we're going to be working on, and I really plan on doing another video with this and on these topics and other topics as well.